Hey fam, welcome back. This is a continuation, part 2 of God's doing in Mili's life and how he brought her kingdom marriage to pass. So we left off in 2019 where George came back into her life with his mind made up. This is my wife. I want to pursue her. I know my parents are still a little bit concerned about the tribe, but I want to pursue this relationship. So that was December of 2019. And now we go into 2020 where we have COVID. So I'll let you pick it up from there. Walk us for the next few years. What happened in 2020, 2021, and what delayed your marriage, and what did you do to just basically get that breakthrough of your kingdom marriage?
Fast forward to 2020, so COVID came, and in 2020 there was a total shutdown. COVID affected everybody, including George and his work. He's back in my life, but we are not meeting at all because there's COVID and there's no movement. Everybody is stuck where they are. But we are communicating. His parents are okay, but not 100% fully okay. So at this point in time, what are we doing? We are continuing with our prayers. I'm speaking with my friend Joy, and I'm sharing with her what's going on in my life and how things are as far as my relationship is concerned. And we are sharing, and she is literally standing with me in prayer and believing for my kingdom marriage.
And let me interject here. So this is 2020. We've had COVID shut down. George works for the government, like part of the government. In Kenya, if you're not working, you're not getting paid, right? So there are no finances for them to move their wedding forward. There are no finances for him to even go and pay the dowry to be able to say, I want to marry your daughter, right? So their wedding, them getting married is at a standstill, right? Because of COVID. So in 2020, Mili and I, we come together and I tell her we need to pray. We need to start praying because we know now this is a kingdom marriage. We know God is in this. We know God is doing this. The devil cannot be happy. We have to start breaking barriers and we have to start breaking generational curses. So all of 2020 and all of 2021, we are very intentional about praying. We used to pray every single day. It would be 4 p.m. my time and it would be 12 midnight her time. And we would literally just pray about her marriage and my marriage. We would be shown things that needed to be broken, generational curses that needed to be broken. We will go into warfare mode for those generational curses. We would be shown hindrances, delays, all of these things. God was revealing them to us, and we would pray and fast. I mean, during that time, if Mili, you agree, I feel like our relationship with God was like this. We were super tight with God. We prayed all the time. So we transitioned to, I want to transition us a little bit further. So we transitioned to 2022. In 2022, there's a bit of a lift. There's a little bit of a lift. During COVID, Mili had lost her job as well. But in 2022, God had given her, at the beginning of 2022, God gave her a job in a miraculous way. And George was also asked to return to work, right? And during this time, I'm still praying to God. I'm still asking God to help me lead. And at the beginning of 2022, I'm out for a run and God speaks to me very clearly. And what God said to me was, because I was supposed to get married before, right? I had already, in 2017, I was supposed to get married and I had already bought my wedding dress. right? I had never worn the dress. That relationship fell apart. That marriage never came to happen. Glory be unto the Lord, right? But I had that dress, and in my head, I had already told myself that that was the dress I was gonna wear when I got married. But when I was out for a run, God spoke to me very clearly, and he said, the guy I have for you will not be okay with you wearing a gown that was intended to be worn for a marriage with somebody else. You need to sew that dress into your friend's life. Like, God was it was very clear. He spoke to me with clarity. And this was a dress that I had spent some good coins on. But God was like, you need to sew that dress into your friend's life. And I had gotten to the place of total surrender because for the last 2 years, we've practically been walking with God. So I knew this is something that I needed to do. And God started talking to me about taking the dress to Mili in March. I never come to Kenya in March. I always come to Kenya around July. And he kept telling me over and over, you got to get to the other side. Get this dress to the other side. Get this dress to the other side. Take the dress to the other side. And I was like, what's the rush? Like, George hasn't even proposed yet. Like, what are we rushing for? But I would hear it. And the moment that I decided that I was going to bring that dress, it was like warfare began. I have never had any issues with flights. But let me tell you, this was the worst travel experience for me. I booked my flight, and the route that I was taking was from Jacksonville, Florida, and I was going to New York. From New York, I was going to Ensemble, and then from Ensemble, I was going to Kenya. The COVID restrictions had lifted, but you still needed to have your COVID testing, and you still needed to make sure like you were cleared for travel. And I had done all of that to make sure I was good. So I get all the way to Ensemble. And when I get to Ensemble, they will not clear me at all. My COVID is okay. Everything is okay. They will not clear me because they're telling me that I don't have a digital visa to enter Kenya. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I have like a hard copy visa, but they're like, we no longer accept those. Like, you have to have an electronic visa. And I'm like, this is what I've always had. Like, I've never had any issues. So they would not let me board that flight to Kenya. And I'm telling them, I have a wedding dress. I'm trying to even lie and be like, I'm going to a wedding. Like, I need to get this dress there. And they just would not listen, right? They would not listen. So I missed that flight. I tried applying for the visa to be able to enter Kenya, and they were telling me that something that takes 24 hours to process, they were telling me it was going to take 2 to 3 days. I was stuck in Ensemble for about 2 days. Even when I got the electronic visa, they would not clear me to board. They would not clear me. I had to buy another flight to enter into Kenya. And even when I bought that other flight to enter into Kenya, I could still not clear. It was like I had my electronic visa. I've spent additional money on this electronic visa. Now they're saying there's something wrong with my flight, with my boarding pass. It was just a hot mess. And what I had to do, I had to go to the airline and ask them to get me back to Jacksonville. And what I did was they took me all the way back to Jacksonville, and I had to basically start all over. I booked a fresh flight. I did a fresh visa, and then that's when I was able to fly back. That was within a few days, but it was the worst travel experience. And I have traveled, but that was the worst experience I have ever had, trying to get this dress into Kenya for this girl right here. And I'm gonna insert a copy of that, a picture of me at the airport looking a hot mess because I had slept there for days. But I'm gonna insert that picture in here for you guys to see. But I got that dress to Kenya, And this was in March of 2022.
Yeah.
So March of 2022, Millie and I we meet at my parents' house in a town called Naivasha. She comes over and we just have fellowship. We have fellowship. We pray. We praise God. We glorify God. We worship God, right? And I remember, I don't know if you remember, when we were at the dining table and we were praying, my feet started running. Yeah. I mean, my feet ran. They were running in the spirit on their own, but my feet were running on their own. We're sitting down, but my feet are running, right? And I remember hearing God say season of acceleration, like season of acceleration, right? And I know you had an encounter there as well when we went to leave. So I'll let you talk a little bit about that encounter, and then we'll proceed into the wedding.
Okay. So as Joy has said, it was a warfare. We prayed. Like, it really took faith, belief, prayer, and fasting for this marriage to happen. So we're in 2022. I have gotten my dress. Joy has brought my dress, and we go into prayers, and she has given her experience during that time. But even me, before the wedding, there is a way that God communicated to me. As we were in prayers, I would dream. I remember the first dream that I had. It showed that I was looking for a specific key. And in the dream, I was being shown that one of my uncle was telling me that the person who holds that key is my mother. And so I was trying to get this key. And I was like struggling to get the key. So I went to my mom. I'm asking her, my uncle is telling me you have this particular key. But my mom is telling me she doesn't have it. It's deceit. Your uncle is lying to you. I don't have this particular key. Yeah. So we continued to pray. George on his side, he's at a good place with his parents. They are accepting, not 100%, but they are good. Like, so far, this is what you want, we are okay with it. This is what you want, we are fine with it. So I had that dream, and then I had another encounter, another dream again. And on this specific dream, God communicated to me, and as clear as the moon, God told me, I have leveled your ground. And he did not only say that I have leveled your ground. He showed me how the ground was well leveled. He showed me how fine the ground was well leveled. And he said clearly that the ground is leveled and nothing can stop, nothing can stop you now. And it is until I had that dream where God communicated and said, your ground is well leveled, that the doors open completely. The doors open completely. So in the year 2022, something bad happened. George lost his dad, and I had not met his parents. So he lost his parents and
his dad.
He lost his dad, and they are gathering, they're coming together as a family.
And let me just interject here a little bit. So in 2022, Millie and I have met, right? Yeah. I have given her the gown,
yeah.
Right? And in that same 2022, after us meeting, God speaks to me and tells me September 12th, he's gonna do something for her. I don't know what it is, but at this time and point, we are waiting in anticipation, because I'm like, oh my gosh, she has the gown now. September 12th, we're like, September 12th is a Saturday. Yeah, this means it's her wedding. Yeah. This is what we are anticipating. This is what we believe, because God had given me that specific date after Millie received that dream and after I gave her that gown. So in our head, us being humans, we just knew September 12th was going to be a day of wedding. but lo and behold, she continued to journey, and in early September, George's dad was ill, and he unfortunately passed on. And Millie had not had the pleasure of meeting him, and had not had the pleasure of meeting George's mom. But at this time and point, God had also been speaking as we were continuing to pray for her marriage. And he was telling Millie, like, he's the God that softens hearts. He's the God that can touch George's mom's heart and turn her heart to accept her. And he just kept saying, like, when the time is right, the Lord will do it. Like, he would speak that to Millie very clearly.
Yeah, he would be like, be still and know that I am God. Anytime I would pray, I would go into tongues, and I would pray in tongues continuously for hours. But the only word that was as clear as the moon was, be still and know that I am God. When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. Those are words that I got a lot during that period of time. And when the time was right, the Lord himself made it happen.
Amen.
I remember, now we are here, George's dad has passed on, I've not met his family. God has given Joy a vision, like that something is going to happen in September 12th. And it is in early September that George's dad fell sick. And he passed on a few days, he passed on. And it is on this September 12th that I met George's mom. And as I went to George's mom, the whole family was gathered. Like, the whole family had come together. Of course, just because he had lost his dad. But this was the time that I met George's mom. And I want to tell you that the reception was so good. She welcomed me so well, like so good. She was happy to see me. She was like, welcome my daughter, feel at home. And it was just so good. Amidst the fact that she had just lost her husband and she was mourning, she opened her arms and welcomed me to her home, and it was so good. And even the reception that I met from George's dad's side was so good. I was able to meet his uncle and his other family members, and it was so good. Like that seemed impossible. That to me did not appear like it will happen just because we come from two different tribes. The reception was so good. They welcomed me so good. And from there, I knew that the bandage, that the bondage that was tying me, it was broken. Because from the way they welcomed me, nothing else seemed impossible. And remember, God had already given me a dream, and he had communicated clearly saying that my ground had been leveled. Like, nothing could stop. At that point in time, nothing could stop me. And just like God had communicated, going forward, nothing stopped me. Going forward, not even the finances, not even the wedding gown. Everything was provided for. God provided for everything for our wedding. Going forward, the planning for the wedding, everything just went smoothly.
Don't take us too fast, Millie. Don't take us too fast. So I'm just going to take you a little bit back. So this gathering is just to come together to plan the funeral. Of course, the family comes together. They're mourning. But I remember that day I woke up. I'm still in Florida. Millie is in Kenya. I woke up and my spirit was alive. I had so much joy. I remember sending her a voice note and telling her, this is the day that the Lord has made. And I remember her telling me, George's mom told him, like, I'm going to say it in Swahili and then translate it in English. Ata uyo mjaluo nilete. Even that lady who's a Luo, bring her to me. Like, I'm accepting her. I'm welcoming her into my home. Bring her to me, right? So Millie gets a nice reception from all of the family. They were even asking her. Now, they're in mourning, But they're like, when is the wedding? When is the wedding? When are you getting married? Welcome to our home. How is our wife? You know, like they're already like so excited and welcoming her. And right after the funeral, that's when Millie's dream was always to get married on her birthday in December. December 2022, her birthday would have fell on a Saturday, and that's what she really wanted. However, her now husband wanted a different date. He wanted to get married on May 6, 2023. And her being a kingdom woman, you know, she submitted and she was like, yes, I'm okay with that date. So from the moment that George set that date and was like, this is the date that we're going to get married, they also set a date where he was gonna go visit her family and basically start the traditional dowry proceedings, right? So let's go to now, I believe around December, because that's when the wedding fully started, and you started gathering your bridesmaids and you started engaging people. Talk to us there about, I believe that December was also your traditional, right? Talk to us about what happened around that time, the contention, and then then we'll move forward into the wedding and the doing of the Lord.
So comes December 2023.
2022.
December 2022, sorry. Yeah. So, yeah, because the wedding was in May 2023.
Yes.
So, December 2023, we are all excited. You know, like George is so ready. He's given the date, you know, when we are having our wedding, and we are very, very excited about everything. The plan is on. And I want to tell you that during our wedding, God provided. God provided for finances. God used people that I didn't even know. My friends came together. They stood with us. They supported us. People came together, even all the way from the USA. People that I have not met. People that, we glorify the Lord. Glory be to God. People came through, people that I had not. God used people for us. And God ensured that we had our dream wedding just like we wanted it. And God leveled, just like he had promised on the dream that he had leveled my path, everything turned out so perfect. We did not spend a single coin for our wedding. God provided it.
And I will share a little bit here. So me personally, God had told me I needed to sow a certain amount of money into their wedding, right? And as I was talking to my mom said God had mentioned to her that she needed to sow a certain amount of money into Millie's wedding. And then from there, God had spoken to my mom and told my mom, this girl is like your daughter, right? I want you to bring together your friends, the people that you have walked with, bring them together and put them in a group and have them contribute towards this girl's wedding. And let me tell you, when we got in that group, my mom put us in a group, her friends, some of my friends back home in Florida, people gave. Like when people would hear her story and what they have been through, they met in 2009, started dating in 2015. God had told her, this guy will make you a good husband. When people would hear that, like God had already softened their hearts and people were just willing to give. I think in US dollars, we needed like $5,000 because we had the currency exchange on our side. So when people contributed all of that money, like the money that we needed extra above what we had been told to sow was about $4,000 or $5,000. And people contributed. They contributed to the point where the wedding was fully paid for. I mean, the wedding was paid for. I'm going to make sure I insert some pictures here so you guys can see the wedding. The wedding was paid for. We had people who donated their cars to carry the bride and the groom. And I'm not talking about your everyday cars. We had rovers that were carrying the groom and the bride, right? The decoration, we had the best decor. We had the best outfits. I mean, God came through. Even the house that Millie was taken out of, like if you're African, you know there's a bunch of shenanigans when we're coming to get our bride, right? The house that she was taken from, like God provided for that house. People came together to contribute for this wedding. They did not spend a dime. Not only that, as Millie and I were journeying, she kept saying, I want a honeymoon. I've always wanted a honeymoon. I want to go to Mombasa. I want to go to Mombasa. God made sure he heard that. Because not only did God provide for the wedding, he also provided for the honeymoon. Not only did God provide for the honeymoon, because they both came from their separate homes and they had gotten an apartment that they were going to live in together, God provided through their church, through their friends. They were bought a nice couch. God provided even for the furnishing of their first home. When I tell you God came through, the gown that Millie wore, everybody was like, wait a minute, where did you get this gown from? Like, where is this gown from? It was just really, truly a print of God. Like God put his stamp on that day. God really did it for Millie. And her waiting was not in vain. And I don't want to just be the only one talking. I was part of that day. That was like my wedding too, right? I was part. It was our wedding because we journeyed together. We journeyed together. We walked through this together. And I was just so happy to be that person to cheer my best friend, to pray for her, to walk with her and just see her enter into her kingdom marriage and see the goodness of God. And really, truly know that God can speak and tell you who your husband is. You just have to be willing to walk in obedience, in celibacy, and in faith. Yeah. Like you have to be willing to do that. And you have to be willing to put your weight and your trust in the Lord. Right? In Proverbs 3:5, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. In all your ways, acknowledge him and do not lean unto your own understanding. Right? Like, stop trying to figure it out. Let God guide you. I'm going to pause and I'm going to let you like add whatever else you want to add before we close out the video.
Yeah, you have spoken, like you have given detail of almost how the wedding went down and everything. So, yeah, God provided fully for our wedding. And he did not only provide for the wedding, he provided for our honeymoon. He provided for our, furnishing of our home, just like Joy has said. He gave over and beyond what we thought or imagined. Like God used so many people. People just came through. Friends, family, church, people from the USA, a family that I didn't know, they all came through for me. And they ensured that our wedding was one of the best weddings. And we had the best time. Not only during the wedding, even after, because our wedding, the goodness of our wedding continued even after the big day. And that is something that I truly thank God for. And it made my faith grow, now more than ever, I know that if you put your trust in the Lord, if you seek first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, all the other things that you need shall be added unto you. And that you truly don't need to lean on your own understanding. But in everything that you do, you need to seek first God. Take it to God. Pray about it. Ask God, does it align with your will for me? Ask God, what is your will for my life? And when it aligned in God's will for your life, everything else will flow. Everything else will fall in. in place. And I want to tell you that I did not just get married to a man. I got married to my best friend. I got married to a person who thinks highly of me, a person who values me, who respects me, who treats me in the best way. Like, he's my best friend. He is my ideal man. The man that I prayed to God to give me. And I'm just so lucky to have him. And I'm happy to, even having joy and journeying with me to ensure that my kingdom marriage came to be. I don't take it for granted. She's been that friend that is not just a friend, but more than a sister to me. She has stood with me in ways that I truly can't tell. Only God knows how big the ways that the things that she has done for me, not on her own will, but through God instructing her that you need to do this. And when God asks her to do, she doesn't close her hands. When God tells her to give, she does. When God tells her to stand with Millie in prayers, she has done that. Our relationship has been built basically in prayers, fasting, and talking to God, asking God, how do we go from here? What do we do? It has been purely prayers and fasting. And God has done so much. God has done so many marvelous things in my life and in her life as well. And I'm so grateful that I'm here at this space, just to thank God for my marriage, for the husband that he has given me, and even a baby as we speak right now. There's a baby girl. Joella. Yeah, so I'm so grateful to God, and I'm so grateful to how he has leveled my path and just ensured that everything that I prayed for, everything that I asked him for, he has given to me. God has given me more than I thought or imagined, and I'm just so blessed to be his daughter.
Millie, thank you so much for coming on the channel and just sharing your story, your journey with God, and your testimony. Just like Revelation says, like the way that we overcome the devil is by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So I pray that this testimony will go out into the world, bless many people. And I pray you, our viewers watching this testimony, you will be motivated to seek God in a higher dimension, to increase your faith, to really put your hope and your faith and your weight on the things of the Lord and waiting on the Lord and being obedient. As always, God loves you. I love you. Be blessed.
Bye.